Wildcats and Jayhawks gearing up here in Lawrence. Welcome to Big 12 College Football Saturday presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This morning from Memorial Stadium on the campus of University of Kansas, it's the 11th ranked Kansas State Wildcats and the Kansas Jayhawks, the 101st consecutive meeting of the Battle of the Sunflower State. Hi everybody, Bill Land alongside Dave Lapham. Glad to have you with us. The Manhattan miracle worker Bill Snyder's at it again. The national surprise team, Dave. But watch out for KU. The record isn't gaudy. They've been struggling a bit, but they're getting better.
Well, Kansas has been stressed by spread up-tempo offenses. Today, it's all about slobber knocker, smash mouth football.
Yeah, Kansas State's a football team that wants to run it, but they start it with their quarterback, but they've got multiple guys.
Yeah, they really do. The only duo in the Big 12 that has averaged over 90 yards rushing apiece, and they get it done. Hubert has a 200-yard rushing games. Colin Klein has 3, and he is definitely the straw that stirs the drink. This kid is 6'5", 226 pounds. Can't get him on the ground. He's bigger than most of the defensive players. Physical, tough runner, averaging over 96 yards per game. Number 3 quarterback rusher in the nation. He has accounted for at least 3 touchdowns in the last 5 games. He is the real deal.
Kansas tries to be balanced, but there's no secret. They want to establish the run as well, but a little bit more in the traditional style. It starts with running back James Sims.
They have to get him off, Bill, no question about it. This guy has got 9 plays of 20 yards or more. So he is a big playmaker. He's a slashing type runner. He's got 6 touchdowns on the ground. Also play a little Wildcat, but the quarterback is going to be key. Jordan Webb, they get that running game going, and then Jordan Webb, a little play action passing. He's like a point guard distributing the ball. 17 different teammates have a catch.
Over the last 12-plus seasons, the Wildcats have 79 non-offensive touchdowns. That's second in the country, only behind Virginia Tech. They added 2 more to that total last week versus Texas Tech. As you see right here, this Tyler Lockett kickoff return for a touchdown, and Nigel Malone added a pick 6 as well. These Wildcats are fundamentally sound. They are efficient, and they are opportunistic. Guys, it will be up to the Jayhawks to limit those opportunities and perhaps create a few of their own if they want to take this Sunflower Showdown.
All right, thanks very much, Emily. Bill Snyder, what a job he's done. His 20th year, his second term, if you will. His 3rd year of his second term, 19-12. And Turner Gill, his 2nd year. It's been a rough go for the Jayhawk boss as they come in 2-4, 0-3 in conference play. They've lost 4 in a row. Bourbon will receive the kickoff from Kentelek. Bourbon try to turn the corner, turn it up. He is shy of the 20-yard line, brought down by Ty Zimmerman from Kansas State. And Kansas coming off a 45-17 loss to the University of Oklahoma in a game in which they trailed by 10 at the half, got shut down offensively in the second half, but they feel overall this guy's getting better each week. Their quarterback Jordan Webb, those are his numbers against the Sooners last weekend.
Yeah, and in the second half, Bill, only 1 first down in 6 yards offense for the Jayhawks. I mean, Oklahoma just suffocated them offensively in the second half of that matchup.
Yet overall, they're averaging 425 yards of offense per game. That's 41st in the country. Defense has been a huge problem for this team, and an opening run to start the game from Darian Miller, a freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri, who came in averaging 4.3 a carry. Here's a look at the big fellas up front.
Jeremiah Hatch taken off the field last week against Oklahoma. The fact he's in the lineup tonight is huge this afternoon. James Sims, he is the man, has to get the running game established. Then they can do hard play action faking off of that, and that's the key.
Webb, the 2nd and short coming up, needing 1 for the first down. And the handoff, and that Kansas State defense rushing to Miller to make the stop. And leading the way, Adam Davis, a junior from Paulson, Georgia.
Aggressive, get up the football field, attack the line of scrimmage. You know, you can blitz to stop the run as well. And the run through by Arthur Brown, very, very active, but nice job up front by Adam Davis.
Wildcat defense giving up just 345 yards per game. That is 4th in the Big 12. And their rush defense is 2nd in the league, 16th nationally at 96.8. Huge improvement over a year ago. 3rd and 3 now. Webb looking to throw, got a man, and complete for a first down out to the 40-yard line. That is Cale Pitt, the junior from Dodge City, Kansas.
Nice job. Pitt ran an outstanding route. Look at the protection, first of all. We're seeing what the quarterback sees. He has a nice little throwing lane, and he sees that his receiver, Pitt, got beyond the linebackers, in front of the defensive backs, settled in the hole.
Pick his 14th reception, picks up 14 yards. Beery, the tight end in motion, sets left. Miller in a stutter step and then forges ahead across the 40 to the 41. And now the Kansas State defense vastly improved.
Yeah, Latui, the junior college transfer, is a big stud in the middle. Arthur Brown is as good as there is in the country. Very, very instinctive and active. And in the secondary, Nigel Malone, 4 interceptions, most in the conference, tied for 6th most in the country. And he has an interception last week against Texas Tech for a touchdown.
Yeah, stunned the Red Raiders early. They end up coming from behind to win that game. A pitch and catch to Pick. And he's got another first down as he crosses into Kansas State territory. Alan Chapman makes the tackle that time for the Wildcats.
Chuck Long doing a good job schematically. Get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly, run the quick little pivot route, and Pick runs it perfectly. Remember, Pick was a quarterback. He sees the game as a receiver through the quarterback's eyes.
Yeah, Pick last year started off the season as the #1 man at quarterback, then moving out to the wideout position. He threw for 193 yards last year and had just 3 receptions. Here is Sims, and he is upended about the 47-yard line of Kansas State, where David Garrett, boy, you love this guy making the tackle.
I love him for sure. This guy's got a nose for the football. And really, last year, he played kind of a hybrid safety linebacker position. Now Bill Snyder's put him at cornerback. You got to get your best 11 defensive players on the football field. That young man is versatile with a capital V.
Snyder, by the way, 15-4 against Kansas and won 14 of the last 15 strolling the sidelines against the Jayhawks. Handoff here by Webb. Not much doing that time as Brown again makes the tackle. And our Coors Light game plan, let's take a look for the Jayhawks here.
Well, the first thing is ball security. They didn't give it up at all against Oklahoma. They have to do that again. Kansas State is +6. They're -4 in the turnover ratio. They want to outrush the Wildcats. Only 1 yard differential in the running games this season. And they want to be 3rd and medium or less, and they want to put the Wildcats 3rd and long.
3rd and 6. Watch out, Webb. He's brought down. A loss on the play at the 49-yard line as Meshach Williams, they like to rotate him into the defensive end position. Another one of the junior college guys out of Hutchinson, Kansas. Nice job done that time by Williams.
And this is too much. 3rd and long. And hold the football. That's a coverage sack. They plaster the receivers down the football field. Eventually, the protection breaks down. And Williams, Meshach Abednego, gets the sack. Big one.
Brings on Ron Doherty, the punter, sophomore from Klein, Texas, averaging 43.6 a kick. Punted 11 times against Oklahoma last week. And this one is caught and taken back and stuffed at the 15-yard line for Kansas State. The Wildcats, after a 6-yard return and a 43-yard punt, Heaney was the return man.
Good tackle there by Heaney in space. Brought him right to the turf. Outstanding effort. Colin Klein takes the field for the very first time today, completing almost 59% of his passes, 7 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. But that's the running game is the key. The leading rusher, 3rd leading rusher at the quarterback position in the country, and he's rushed for 10 scores.
And the 4th leading rusher in the Big 12, period. 739 yards coming in. 578, I should say, and on the first down, on the ground, and Hubert is going to get a lot of action carrying the football today. Here's a look at the O-line.
Well, the big senior, Clyde Offner, seems like he's played 100 games at Kansas State. He is the anchor of the offensive line. Hubert has rushed for over 100 yards a couple of times, averages over 90 yards a game on the ground himself to complement the quarterback, Klein.
Klein averages 4.2 per carry, 578 yards rushing, 739 passing. 2nd and 7. Klein stopped at the 16-yard line as Bakari makes the tackle. Junior out of Woodbridge, Virginia.
One thing Kansas State wanted to do is to get off to a good start on the road and down in in Lubbock last week. They only got 94 yards offense in the first half. Got off to a very slow start. Did not want to do it in the rivalry game on the road again today.
So, Jayhawks defensively try to stiffen here as the Wildcats face with a 3rd and 6 from their own 17-yard line. Klein got hit as he threw it, and it's incomplete, intended for Tremaine Thompson. A little pressure that time from Tobin O'Pora.
The key for the Jayhawk defense is going to be make the Wildcats throw it because they have to, not because they want to. They got them in a down and distance situation where Kansas State had to throw the football. That is not the strength of their offense. Look at the splits on this punt team for Kansas State. Massive splits.
Ryan Dorr to punt it out of Katy, Texas. DJ Bashir is one of the top all-purpose guys in the country to return for the Jayhawks. And it's taken at the 42 and crossed to the 47 as Bashir's, junior from Denton, Texas, gives Kansas excellent field position after a 40-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Zip, zip, early going in Lawrence. Nothing being held back here on a beautiful day for football in Lawrence. Kansas Jayhawks hosting the Kansas State Wildcats. The Cats at 6-0, number 11 in the BCS ranking. Throttled on their first possession as Klein and company will adjust. Meanwhile, Jordan Webb and the Jayhawks second possession with excellent field position, but it's going in reverse. Coming on is Williams with the sack and takes him down at the 37-yard line of Kansas.
Boy, Williams is getting it done, working against Spikes. Just got them off balance, out of position, took the inside move. Spikes has to take that inside number away from Williams. Outstanding effort.
Williams gets his second sack of the day, his 6th of the season. Came in with 13 tackles on the year, already having a huge impact. Pearson in the backfield now as the running back. Kansas will shuttle him in. A little bubble screen, and he got a little room, bumps it across the 40, and gets to the 42, it looks like. Ty Zimmerman from Junction City, Kansas, a sophomore with the tackle. Our Coors Light game plan here for Bill Snyder's Cats.
Well, control the clock. Time of possession, 35 minutes, 33 seconds a game. Leads the Big 12, second in the country. Want to avoid 3 and outs. They want to play smart. Last week against Tech, 10 penalties, 78 yards. Can't do that in a rivalry game. Be special. Emily talked about it. 100-yard kickoff return. They blocked a couple of field goals.
False start on the offense. Number 86, 5-yard penalty. Third down.
You can't go to sleep on 4th down against Kansas State. They will clean your clock.
The Wildcats last week beat Texas Tech and Lubbock 41-34. Klein ran for 110, passed for 146, and ran for 3 scores, passed for 1. The Jayhawks, you see their situation in 3rd down against Oklahoma.
Well, and now they're 3rd and 20. You know, this is not where you want to be, 3rd and 21. You don't want to be down in distance in this situation. It's tough conversion against this salty Wildcat defense.
Webb's thrown for 1,238 yards coming in. Got time here, going deep, double covered, and throws it away, intended for the Shears. DJ, well, blanketed down there. Zimmerman lending a hand. Hartman also there. There's Turner Gill. Saw his club go 3-9 last year, just one Big 12 victory, but it was a doozy where they came from 45-13 down against Colorado to win 52-45.
Back-to-back 3 and outs. The Wildcats went 3 and out, and the Jayhawks get great field position. They go 3 and out.
Doherty will punt it away. He stands on his own 22. Tyler Lockett is the deep man, the lone one for Kansas State. And off to the side, bounces at the 29, and goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 36-yard kick that time for the Jayhawks. Doherty. Still no score here in Lawrence. Here, it's Kansas State unbeaten, and the Wildcats 6-0, 3-0 in the Big 12. Meanwhile, the Jayhawks looking for their first conference win. No score early going, 7:40 to play first quarter. Hubert lines up for the Wildcats as a tailback. Klein delivers a pass, and does he? Across the 50, complete to Lockett. Lockett, a freshman out of Tulsa. You might remember that name. Of course, his dad, Kevin, a terrific receiver, and 24 yards on that pickup for Tyler Lockett.
Well, it's just a deal. You run right down the hash mark. I mean, there's a cavity right there, recognized immediately at the snap of the football by Klein. He had one read, and it was to Lockett, and they gashed it.
Lockett's dad and his uncle, Aaron, both great K-State receivers. So 1st and 10 in Jayhawk territory for Kansas State. Klein, quick hitter to the outside as Harper makes the grab, out of bounds at the 39 of Kansas. Harper, the junior out of Wichita, Kansas, Northwest High School, their leading receiver coming in with 21 grabs for 251 yards.
The last 2 first downs, Kansas has thrown the football. The last 2 first downs, Kansas State has thrown the football. So much for the ground and pound. Both of these teams are deciding to open it up, throw the football to help set up their run instead of vice versa.
You know that's where certainly Kansas State's coming back to. Klein hands it off here. Good defensive play as Hubert is stuffed at the 40-yard line. And let's take a look at that Kansas defense.
On the defensive line, Toba Forum is the pressure guy, the pass rush guy. Stephen Johnson averaging over 10.5 tackles a game. He's a tackling machine. Isaiah Barfield gets the nod in the secondary. Very athletic guy. Looking for him to make a play or two back there.
Kansas defense need to get some turnovers. They've been allowing 565 yards of total offense. That is last in the nation. And if you're not going to be able to stop them, you got to get some picks and some fumble recoveries. This one is complete again to Harper, as Harper is stopped inside the 30. They'll mark it near the 28-yard line.
The Jayhawk defense has faced the 2nd ranked, the 4th ranked, the 6th ranked, and the 9th ranked offenses. I mean, it has been unbelievable. Every single team that Kansas has played under Turner Gill here this season was undefeated at the start of the football game. This is game 7. Every single opponent came into this game against the Jayhawks unbeaten. Amazing.
1st and 10. Klein, play action. Got a man, and it is complete once again to Chris Harper. Time for an Academy Sports and Outdoors game break with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen.
Bill, Dave, number 7 Clemson taking on Carolina. Bryn Renner has thrown 81 consecutive passes without an interception. Make it 82. Touchdown there. Carolina up on Clemson early, 7-3.
How about that? Another rivalry game. It's rivalry day today.
How about Klein, 4-4 for 67 yards in the air on this drive. And he's got him set up for a 1st and goal to go as the Wildcats. They'll milk that clock.
This is where he's so dangerous because he can run it. Quarterback run game's big here.
Shows the football, and look at that Kansas defense. Read that play. Stopped at near the 7, Stephen Johnson.
With the help from a host of others, boy, there were 5 people around that play. Look at the difference between these 2 football teams. Kansas State has got a 17% advantage scoring in the red zone, almost a 20% advantage on 3rd down. Points off turnovers are +4 in the point department. I mean, they're just very, very opportunistic and sound are the Wildcats.
2nd and goal from the 7. Klein barking it out. Klein right up the middle. Touchdown, Kansas State. Colin Klein gets his 11th touchdown of the year on the ground.
And whenever you're in this type of formation, it is a 2-back set. It's a 2-back set, and he has a lead blocker the other back. Fake the ball to him, he leads through, and Klein is a big physical guy, 6'5", 226. The further you get him away from the center and the big lineman, he's bigger than everybody else. He's about the same size as a lot of the linebackers, a lot bigger than the defensive backs. You're going to have a hard time getting that big man on the ground.
Kentelly for the point after. He's 20 of 21 this year. And this kick is up and good, as the junior from Wichita, Kansas makes it 7-0. How about Klein?
Nice job. Absolutely fit on the run fake, and then it was off to the races.
Colin Klein gives Kansas State the 7-0 lead, as after leading them down the field with passing, he takes it in himself.
Watch, he's going to fake to Hubert. Watch what that does to Richard Johnson. And then once Richard Johnson bites on Hubert, okay, Pitts, get your block, double, rub to the linebacker, lane, touchdown. Easy. Touch football, he scores. That's big time. You have a two-back set back there when you have two runners the capabilities of Hubert and Klein.
Klein, 6'5", 226. He can take a hit, too. The Shears on the return. 20, 25, watch out! The Shears, the 40! The Shears, turn it on! 30, and out of bounds! Inside the 20-yard line, a flag is thrown way back on the 24 of Kansas State.
Now let's see if there's some sort of an illegal block there. Would that be a huge penalty, nullifying all that field position? But man, you talk about a hustle play. David Garrett, the starting cornerback.
During the return, blocking the back, receiving team number 41, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's a 50-yard penalty. You talked about flipping field position. There's the illegal block right there, the block in the back. And he didn't even have to do it. It's unfortunate. He didn't know he didn't have to do it. But that, not only 10 yards, I mean, it's a 50-yard penalty or more. You're flipping more than half the field.
That was a 72-yard return, and I think I said the Kansas State 25. No, that was the Kansas 25, of course. So now you push it all the way back to the 11-yard line for Turner Gill's Jayhawks, and what a hole. And that can be a huge momentum shift, particularly coming after K-State looked pretty impressive scoring.
Well, I mean, they score a touchdown. You give your offense a short field. Oh, no, you don't, because of a special teams penalty. Now it's a long football field. Circle that penalty. That penalty is going to be, you talk about hidden yards. Kansas, the Jayhawks just lost about 65 yards of field position on that return.
And Bill Snyder, who was all the way down at the line of scrimmage, and
looks like he's saying something about somebody blew a whistle. He was signaling, he gestured to his mouth about a whistle was blown or something.
Scott Novak, the official there, who was meeting with him, and I mean, the respect for Bill Snyder goes without saying, that as long as he's been around, and no one is better at details than this man. And I'm not sure, if, like you say, maybe he thought there was an early whistle or whatever, but he wanted that football pushed back further than the 11. I think that's evident. But that's what Kansas will operate. Out of the Wildcat this time as the direct snap. That goes to Sims, the running back. And you'll see a lot of this from Kansas and offensive coordinator Chuck Long today. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda.
Yeah, there's multiple people that can wildcat. Sims can do it, Miller can do it, and Christian Matthews does it. The wide receiver, he was a quarterback in high school. They may throw it a little bit out of the wildcat.
Now Webb returns. Pearson is the running back behind Jordan Webb. Webb, a sophomore from Union, Missouri. 3:30 and counting here, first quarter. And the handoff to Pearson. Pearson dances across the 20 to the 21. Ray Kibble makes the tackle.
Double flags.
Yeah.
Little late action here.
Because he was in first down territory.
Pearson averaging 7.5 yards a carry. Explosive. You got to keep your composure and your poise.
After the runner got a first down, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense, number 86. Half the distance of the goal, first down.
That's the senior captain, tight end Tim Beery. He's been in a few of these, and you have to keep your poise. Right here, lines him up and takes the late shot. And the umpire throws the flag, and the back judge threw a flag, so multiple people had the same opinion. Turner Gill's.
It will be 1st and 10. 1st and 10 after the enforcement.
Turner Gill's football team is playing hard. They're not playing smart football right now. A penalty nullifying a massive kickoff return, then a penalty nullifying a first down run.
They average 6 penalties, 41 yards per game. As Dave mentioned, that's certainly a potential killer. Goes back half the distance to the goal, and upended is Miller that time as Emmanuel Lemur making the tackle. Lemur, a senior out of West Palm Beach, Florida. 27 tackles on the year coming in.
Boy, this Kansas State defense is so aggressive. I mean, their run support is spectacular. Defeating the block of A.J. Stewart in the slot and just coming up and forcing the run. with definite emphasis.
And now, line of scrimmage is the 7. So it's 2nd and 13. And the handoff not going anywhere, as once again, Miller is stuffed this time at shy of the 5-yard line.
Well, Kansas is self-destructing with penalty. Kansas State is turning up the volume defensively. They are getting off blocks and attacking the line of scrimmage with vigor. Going to have to sustain some blocks up front. Right now, the body language of the Jayhawks is slumped shoulders. The Wildcats is puffed out chest.
Adam Davis with a big defensive play. Now Webb going to take it a yard deep in the end zone on this 3rd and 15 snap. Almost deflected, well, almost intercepted, I should say, almost, as Davis again got that hand on it, and that would have been a touchdown.
Adam Davis says, I'm not on scholarship to be a receiver, but I wish I caught that one. Man, if he caught that, it was golden goalpost. It would have been one of those unscripted scores that Emily talked about in the open. They've got 2 pick-6 touchdowns, almost came up with a short one for number 3.
Doherty saying, how much room do I have? The sophomore backed up in the end zone. Tyler Lockett, the deep man for Kansas State. Lockett at the 42, looking for an opening, going sideways, 35, and now out of bounds. But still, outstanding field position for Kansas State, as Colin Klein will come back on. And how impressive was he on that last drive?
Well, he set the run up with the pass. He doesn't have the pure mechanics throwing the football, a little unorthodox, but he's accurate. Came into the game completing almost 60%, and he was 4 for 4 in this drive, got him in touchdown range, and then he finished it. He said, all right, I do it to a certain point, but I got to run for my 11th touchdown of the season. Look at these guys' numbers on the season. The previous 2 games, he's rushed for 6 touchdowns. I'll tell you what, he's a very, very complete player, and he's a peak performer so far today.
No doubt. 37-yard punt, 8-yard return. Kansas State, excellent field position on the 1st and 10. And pinball action for John Hubert as he was knocked around and stopped at the 33-yard line. Keba Agostino, sophomore out of Katy, Texas, makes the tackle. And Wildcats, who scored on the last possession, great opportunity here where it'll be a 2nd down now and 8. Hubert lines up along with Klein.
Sorry, Bill, because of penalties, Kansas State has great field position. Kansas should have had the ball by the red zone now scoring if that hadn't made the mistake on the kickoff.
Pitch and catch once again, and it is complete out on the wing to Lockett. Lockett has the 1st down. He is tackled at the 22-yard line of Kansas. Send it down now to Emily Jones.
Well, you guys talk about Colin Klein, and when you talk to Bill Snyder about him, the first thing he wants to talk about is what kind of a person he is. Great character, which is not unlike a Bill Snyder coached player, as you guys well know. But then he talks about his toughness and the fact that he's kind of a mild-mannered guy, but he's really earned his stripes with his team and showing his toughness, both in that Miami game and, of course, the Texas Tech game last week.
Thanks, Emily. Nice pass here, and Lockett makes a little something out of it once again as he runs down to the 14-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Lubbock Smith, a junior from Dallas Carter High School.
Yeah, sometimes a guy with his demeanor, like Emily's talking about, has to push himself, you know, to get out of character a little bit to motivate his football team. But he leads by example as well, because nobody takes bigger hits than he does during the course of the football game, and he just keeps jumping up and says, give me more.
Junior from Loveland, Colorado, started just 2 games last year, played in 10, so he is still evolving in his game, but no one questions his toughness. 2nd and 2, and Klein will take care of that. Inside the 10 and rolls down to the 6-yard line, and that will end the 1st quarter. Bill Snyder, his amazing Wildcats, 6-0. And Dave was talking about how Kansas had been facing some juggernauts with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State recently. Those 2 are coming up next for Kansas State. They'll have the Sooners next week in Manhattan, trying to go 7-0 to get there. So we start the second quarter with a 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Klein hands it off. No, he faked me out and takes it right into the end zone. Touchdown Wildcats. They tackled Hubert. He didn't have the ball. And Klein gets his second TD.
That's the second time that Hubert has sacrificed himself for Klein's touchdown. The first time, a big down lineman tackled him, Richard Johnson. This time, Tobin Aporum takes him to the ground. Klein says, no, this is zone read. I got the football, little prestidigitation, and that's his 12th rushing touchdown of the season, his second today.
Yeah, it's tackle the man with the ball. That's how we used to play in the backyard. And now the kick is good by Cantelli, and the Wildcats, first play of second quarter, now lead it 14-zip. Welcome back here to Kansas. Take a look at our Delta scoring drive, the Delta Faucet scoring drive to be proper. 5 plays, 35 yards, and Klein, who incomplete on his first pass, has hit his next 6. Then he's taken over running the football in for both scores. Now we're set to kick it off here as Cantelli will boot it off to Shears and Bourbon, the 2 deep players in the end zone. Cantelli chips it a little short, and Bashir scoops it up and bounces off a player, takes it across the 30 near the 33-yard line. And Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Here's Kevin Frazier with Marcus Allen.
Brandon Wheaton having a good day so far. He has a pair of touchdown passes. This one to Justin Blackman. It is now 20 straight games that Wheaton has tossed at least a touchdown pass. Oklahoma State taking care of business, up 14-3 over Missouri.
Man, Wheaton to Blackman, unbelievable combo right there.
And is that state of Oklahoma buzz with those 2 teams ranked 3rd and 4th in the BCS rankings in a potential showdown coming up December 3rd. Meanwhile, Alabama, LSU looking to November 5th, the top 2 teams. Here's a run by Bourbon. He is stopped at the 33-yard line. Slight gain on the play. 14:36 and counting here, second quarter. And Kansas needs to, they've been able to move the football some. They're going to have to get some points on the board and slow down this Kansas State bunch a bit.
The misdirection hurt Kansas State's defense in the first drive. They've adjusted quickly. Misdirection nowhere since.
And you see that opening drive had some success. Now Webb comes out throwing here, picked the receiver. Good solid tackle, no surprise from Kansas State at the 38-yard line by Ty Zimmerman. He comes in with 28 tackles.
You've got to stay on schedule. The key is be 3rd and 4 or less and make Kansas State be 3rd and 7 or more. Cale Pick makes it a 3rd and makeable situation for the Jayhawks.
Pick, nice worker and really going here today. Sets up 3rd and 4 for Kansas. Beery again in motion, sets to the right now. Webb, incomplete. Read very well that time, intended for Beery. I think that was Walker out there.
Yeah, he came right underneath. Trey Walker undercut the route and makes a good play on the football.
Makes it 4th and 4.
Watch him undercut the route. Good read, good break on the football. No go.
So Doherty will kick it away. He stands at his own 25. It's a 4th and 4. Trying to lock it, the deep man again for Kansas State. High kick by Doherty. Lockett will return from the 12. The 20. And out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Steve Johnson on the tackle. 11-yard return after a 49-yard kick. K-State up 2 touchdowns. Here at Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Kansas, it's the Wildcats in control. Up 14-0, 13:26 to go second quarter. John Hubert lines up behind Colin Klein, who has scored both Wildcat touchdowns. And it's a 1st and 10. You see the yards per play. Wow, what a difference. And the handoff to Hubert. Kansas stops him here at the 24-yard line. Hubert coming in, averaging 5.2 per carry, 545 yards on the ground, 8th in the Big 12. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda.
And Bill Snyder, ever the contrarian thinker, that's why I call him a professor, has decided to throw it more so to open things up in this football game.
And Klein very successful. First was incomplete and hit 6 in a row. Here he is here. Good protection, and he'll run it. Shows you some wheels. The 35, the 40, the 50, and into Kansas territory, out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Jayhawks. McDougal there to shadow him, but he picks up 31 yards.
And down the football field, Chris Harper, number 3, watch him down. The lane opens up. Outrun, speed factor for Klein. Down the football field, look at Harper, work. Gets his block down the football field, giving Klein more room. Outstanding. And Klein, when he sees the Red Sea part like it did right there, he's going to tuck it and go.
Klein's had 3 100-yard-plus rushing games so far this season. Maybe Baylor, he ran for 113 and a touchdown and threw for 146 and 2 scores. Going deep here, got a man, Harper, and a flag is thrown. McDougal and Harper get tangled up, and the flag is thrown.
Well, the ball's underthrown. Klein throws his worst pass of the day. Harper reacts to the football. He finds it. McDougal doesn't.
Interference on a defense number 24. 15-yard penalty. First down.
As Harper makes an adjustment back to the football to make a contested catch, McDougal just contacts him early. He collides with Harper before the ball arrives. Look, he goes up, runs through him before the ball's there. Easy call. He knocked him backwards a yard before the football's arrival. McDougal just did not time it properly. Underthrown football. If Klein puts the ball out there, Harper walks into the end zone. Underthrown ball gave McDougal time to recover, but he's there too early.
And there you see another huge Kansas penalty. And it sets it up 1st and 10 at the 30. The Wildcat again, and running it is Peace. Angelo Peace, the junior from Cairo, Georgia, getting his first carry of the day. Well, Kansas State and what they've done with Bill Snyder is absolutely amazing. Our Geico quote, he has gone heavy with the junior college transfers and talked to us a lot about that. The rest of the team must accept them into the family for us to be successful, and there's no question that they do, Dave.
No doubt about it. I mean, they're all players in Bill Snyder's eyes, and if you have problems, there's no, segregation of junior college players as opposed to scholarship players out of high school. It's all one big family, and they all contribute to the cause.
2nd down and 6. Klein, short pass to Harper, can't wiggle loose this time, as tackled up top, that time by Anthony Davis. You see there's still 12 scholarships under the limit. 2 deep roster with 4 transfers, 2 walk-ons, 8 junior college transfers, but it's equal opportunity, scholarship or not. Best players play.
And he's the reason right there, Bill Snyder, because it's all about his discipline and principles. And he's teaching life lessons, not just football lessons. These kids come in and they crave discipline. He provides it for them.
3rd and 3 now for the Wildcats. They lead it 14-0. Klein finds his way down near the 16-yard line. Another first down for Kansas State.
What you do is you have a quarterback, pull down his backside lineman, outnumber him, fullback, kick him out. Come on around, guard, Pitts, get your block. Hey, you know what? You're a running back, but you can block too. You might as well get a good one, Hubert. That's just outstanding execution. That's Kansas State at its best. Out-leverage you, get one more helmet at the point of attack than you have defender. Everybody get their helmet on somebody and finish the block.
1st and 10. Ball at the 16. Kansas State threatening to score again. Klein going left. The pitch here to Hubert. The 15, the 10, breaks a tackle and down to the 6-yard line, nearly the 5. And an outstanding block by Braden Wilson, junior fullback.
He had an outstanding block on the power run by the quarterback Klein. Watch 37, sort through, get the cut. Take his legs out from under him, Very fine effort on the perimeter. Bill Snyder hammers you with the power play inside and then stretches you out horizontally, running the options to the wide side of the field. He's got you coming and going between the rock and the hard place.
First and goal from the 5, and Klein hands this one off, and right up the gut, it is John Hubert. Hubert gets his second touchdown of the season, his first of the day, and Kansas State leads it 20-0.
Hubert's one of those guys that's hard to find behind the offensive line. 5'7", 185 pounds. Doesn't give you a whole lot of hitting surface. Runs with a good body lean. Touchdown. He's not hit until he's to the goal line. Kansas State's offensive line starting to impose their will.
Ted Tully tries to stay perfect on the day and make it a 21-0 game. Snap, kick is up and good. And Kansas State breaks out to a 21-0 lead. After the break, we'll join Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen in the Coors Light studio. Shell shock right now as the Jayhawks, who've been throttled pretty good recently, and now their rival Wildcats putting it on them 175-37 in yardage here, and we got 9:31 to go in the half.
Yeah, they're a little bit fragile right now mentally, and Kansas State has gotten off to such a good start. The Jayhawks are feeling a little shell shock.
Bourbon on the return to the 20, 30. Bourbon sheds a tackler and moves it out to the 37-yard line, and that's where Kansas will get control. A 23-yard return for Brandon Bourbon, a redshirt freshman from Potosi, Missouri.
I did the game last year, the Kansas State game, which Kansas State won 56-7. So you would think there'd be a little blood in the eye, a little revenge factor. 21-0 so far in the last 5.5 quarters of football. Kansas State has outscored Kansas 77-7. They've outscored them by 10 touchdowns. Jayhawks have to get on track here and make this competitive.
So let's see what the Jayhawks can come up with if they have an answer here to slow this Wildcat momentum. It's 1st and 10. Speaking of the Wildcat, they do the direct snap here, and that is Sims who carries it to the 30, or across the 40 to the 43. And here's what's Kansas State as far as stuffing the run. Take a look at what's happened this season. So much improved over a year ago when opponents were rushing for 231 yards a game against them.
And not only that, you can see the number of yards less that they're holding them to. The fact is, they gave up 5.9 yards a carry last year. This year it's 3.2. That is massive.
Up the middle. And Miller with the tackle. And it still comes down to, even in a pass-happy league like this, you got to be able to stop the run. And Kansas State has proven that, even though they haven't won their games by wide margin, they initially stop the run. They get people out of what they want to do.
Well, if you can make a team one-dimensional, some teams choose to be one-dimensional on their own. But if you can make a team have to throw the football, you get a leg up.
Huge wins for the Wildcats at Miami, a goal line stand. The Baylor game where they came back and won. Here's a little pitch and catch for KU to get something going outside on the wing and still moving the football. That's Shepard. Shepard inside the 37 down to the 36-yard line for Ja'Cory Shepard, a freshman from Mesquite, Texas. His first reception of the day, 12th of the year.
Watch A.J. Stewart get the block. Good job, A.J. Stewart. Good job down the field by Pick. And this guy is explosive. They want to get the football in his hands, averaging over 20.5 yards per reception. He's got 3 touchdown passes of 48 yards or more, 48, 56, and 68. He can go.
So, 1st and 10, and running with the football. That is Pearson, who pushed back. Forward progress stopped at the 30-yard line. Zimmerman with the tackle that time. How about the Jayhawks schedule? You see nothing in the right-hand column but zeros. Everybody they played has come in unbeaten. Now a little hurry up, and again to Shepard. Gets to the 24. That'll move the chains. You know, that's one thing in September, Dave, but we're approaching Halloween.
Yeah.
And you see the teams that come in here. What was it, Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator, said to us, hey, the hits just keep coming.
No question. Everybody that comes in hasn't suffered a defeat on the season. Good job of getting the ball in Bashir's hands too. He's an all-purpose king. Fourth in college football at over 186 yards a game, all-purpose yards.
1st and 10. Miller lines up here. He gets the carry. A nice hold, and Miller scoots to the 14-yard line. David Garrett, the tackle for the Wildcats.
Nice job up front by Jeremiah Hatch and Dwayne Slatnick, getting a little crease in the middle of the defense.
Now a little tempo change here as they go under center. Hand off to Miller from Webb, and Miller went down at the 12, I believe, where Kibble makes the tackle. Ray Kibble, a senior out of Houston for Kansas State.
Good job by Chuck Long. You have to do something to change things up. Get to the line of scrimmage maybe a little bit sooner. Late substitution here for the Jayhawks.
Pearson again lines up, and now they shuffle over as Beery moves to the right side. The same for Stewart, number 11. He's got Pick over there as well. Goes that way. Webb on the keeper. That didn't fool anybody, particularly Adam Davis, who's had a big first half as he makes the stop for KSU.
Anytime a quarterback runs a zone read, the Kansas State Wildcat defense, we see this every day in practice. Colin Klein does this every single snap. So it's not a big shocker for Kansas State's defense to handle that type of action, and nobody does it any better than Colin Klein. Here's what the quarterback sees, the big boys up front.
So a timeout called here by the Kansas Jayhawks as we're down to 5:58 to go in the first half. They are desperately trying to get back into this one, trailing 21-0. We'll be right back. Kansas trying to get on the board as Webb has them all spread out here with the empty backfield. And a 3rd down and 8. Jordan Webb, little look in, and Pick is stopped at the 5. Shy of the first down, I believe.
Well, you got a wide receiver on a linebacker. Although it's a very talented linebacker, that's a matchup you like. Little pivot route, wide receiver on linebacker. He separates. Big play.
Kansas this year is 7 of 12 in 4th down conversions. It is 4th down and 1, and they'll take another timeout here as Turner Gill realizing this is a critical part of the game as the Jayhawks trying to get 7 to get on the board. Welcome back on a 4th and 1. The handoff to Sims, and he takes it for the first down as Trey Walker makes the tackle. But James Sims, the leading rusher for Kansas and 11th in the end. The Big 12 will set up a 1st and goal now at the 2.
Nice job up the middle. Marangeli, Hatch, and Zlatnick push the line of scrimmage big time.
Jordan Webb. And again, Sims just bulls his way in. And the Jayhawks are on the board as James Sims with a touchdown, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season.
And Chuck Long says, I'm going to repeat it. You guys delivered for me on 4th down. Here, let me run it again, see if you can deliver for me for a touchdown. Same play. Hammered up inside. Watch the big boys. Push at the line of scrimmage. Easy touchdown. Nice job. Way to come off the line of scrimmage and establish yourself.
Victor McBride will hold for Alex Mueller, the freshman kicker from Grapevine, Texas. Mueller knocks it through, and Mueller now 26 of 27 on the season. And the Jayhawks with Sims with a touchdown make a 21-7 game. Let's send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, you guys, Kansas showing some signs of life here late in the second quarter, and you talked about the strength of the Jayhawks schedule thus far. Every team they've played, as you've mentioned, has come into the game undefeated. You would think that maybe things would lighten up a little bit the rest of the way, but that is not the case. 3 of the next 5 Jayhawk opponents are ranked in the top 25 or receiving votes as of right now, so no rest for the weary. However, this is a young team. You've got to think that the stripes they're earning this year will pay dividends in the years to come, gentlemen.
Thanks, Emily. And yeah, there's your Big 12 this year that has undergone a lot of turmoil, but the fact of the matter is everybody plays everybody in this league, so there's an additional conference game and this league is a tough, tough conference this year.
There's no doubt. I mean, the Big 12 is one of the premier football conferences in the country, and it proves itself year in and year out.
Top to bottom, hard to beat this season. So the kickoff. Mueller's kick was taken by Lockett, the 20. Lockett, 30, sideline, stays in play across the 40. A flag is thrown at the 37-yard line. If it stands, it's a 32-yard return by Tyler Lockett.
They got Leighton Dowling for
During
holding.
the return,
Kansas
holding,
State.
receiving team number 90.
Yep.
10-yard penalty, first down.
For Kansas State, Bill Snyder not happy about the penalties last week. That's been a pretty good situation for him so far this week. Here's what's coming up on the Sprint halftime show as Kevin and Marcus in the studio. Top 25 scores and highlights. And we mentioned Oklahoma State playing University of Missouri down the road. They'll have more on that, as well as top 10 Oregon at Colorado preview from the Rocky Mountains. Colin Klein, there's his work today. 2 rushing touchdowns, 7 carries, 60 yards, and 7 of 8 through the air for 89. Extremely efficient. 1st and 10. Incomplete. Right here, 4:51 to go, second quarter. Kansas State with a 2-touchdown lead. Klein across the middle, deflected. Intended for the tight end Tannehill, but Tobin O'Purum, former running back, and he came in leading this team in tackles for loss with 7.5. Nice pass coverage that time.
7.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a couple quarterback hurries. This time he shows that he can drop into coverage and defend a pass, showing his athleticism and versatility.
And the Kansas crowd becoming a factor maybe for the first time today. They've been very quiet, particularly in the nature of this rivalry. And Klein on a 3rd and 10. Escapes the pressure. Harper, did he get the first down? Oh, there's a flag.
Face mask.
As Harper was tackled near the first down, and then the face mask is going to be called. I think that's Malcolm Walker.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense number 44. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Unfortunate, but I'll tell you, they rush 3 and drop 8. And so Klein just tries to extend it a little bit, and Walker he just grabs the grill and twists the head. I mean, a little exorcist action there. You can't grab it and pull it. Man, this is, you got to let it go. That's potential neck injury right there. I mean, that's a personal foul. That's why the face mask penalty is in. You can't grab the face mask or headgear and twist the head like that.
So again, first and 10 at the 48-yard line. Klein pitches here, Hubert. He's got a cut back to the 40. Breaking tackles along the way, and Hubert is down to the 32-yard line. McDougal makes the tackle, and a 20-yard gain for John Hubert.
You can see the Kansas State execution and confidence swelling on every snap. I mean, this football team is so fundamentally sound. It's all about Paul Brown, my first head coach and a legendary guy in the football world. Whoever blocks and tackles wins football games. It's all about that. And right now, Kansas State is doing a better job of each.
Hubert had 166 yards against Miami and continues to just grow. Last year, played sparingly, had a 30 yards rushing on the season, 19 against Kansas in that K-State win. Oh, wide open was Tannehill. And Klein, upset that he missed him, will send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, we really can't talk enough about the job that the 72-year-old Bill Snyder is doing in his second stint as the head coach at Kansas State. And I thought it was funny, Dave, when you asked him on the conference call, hey, Coach, what are you doing? They're buying everything you're selling. And he said, I'm not selling anything. It's all for free. And it was funny reading some of the comments from his players in articles that have been done over the last couple of weeks. Fullback Braden Wilson said, quote, in the end, he's always right.
Yeah, what was they mentioned? Sometimes his message is a bit monotonous, but we get it. And they are showing that they get it here. Hubert on the pitch is stopped shy of the 30-yard line. Richard Johnson making the tackle, and Bill Snyder, the miracle man of Manhattan. You see the first go-round, and then 3-time National Coach of the Year, the 11 straight bowls, and just absolutely incredible. And then he replaces Ron Prince, and 6-6. Last year they go to that Pinstripe Bowl back in New York, and now this year the 6-0 start.
Coaching's all about teaching. Bill Snyder has his doctorate in teaching. He is a phenomenal teacher.
3rd down and 9 for the Wildcats. Klein got plenty of time, and a man, it is complete. Yes, complete to Tremaine Thompson. Had to see if he was able to hang on. They ruled it complete at the 2-yard line.
5'7", 165 pounds, and he stretched out for every inch of that 5'7". Klein led him to the middle of the football field. Let him. He catches it, brings it back up to his body, and rolls underneath the football with his body. The ball, does the tip of the ball hit the ground? They may take another look. Does the tip of the ball hit the ground? He's averaging over 16 yards a catch. Got to snap this one quickly.
27 yards on that pickup. 1st and goal. And Klein trying to push it in, still moving. And he scores! Touchdown, Wildcats, Colin Klein.
Colin Klein is a dual threat today. Beating him with his throwing arm and beating him with his legs. Just like those last 2 plays. Those last 2 plays are a synopsis of his performance today. Watch the offensive line and watch Wilson. Okay, it's a scrum. Everybody keep pushing because Klein's going to keep working. Don't quit until the whistle blows.
Klein, his 3rd straight game with 3 rushing touchdowns. Kentelly on for the PAT. It is good. And Klein now with 13 rushing touchdowns on the season. And Kansas State, talk about an answer. KU scores, K-State quickly, 28-7.
He's accounted for at least 3 touchdowns in the last 6 games now by throwing or rushing. This is his 3rd touchdown rushing. And credit the offensive line. They just kept pushing. Kansas couldn't separate from any blocks. And it was just like a big old scrum at the end of the line of scrimmage, and Klein scores. A lot of push-ups going on today.
Willie the Wildcat going to get a workout if this continues, as it was 7-0 after the 1st quarter and 4 touchdowns scored here in the 2nd quarter. The first 2 by Klein and Hubert of the Cats, then Sims on a 2-yard run for the Jayhawks, and quickly the Wildcats come right back to put a 7th spot on the board and now lead at 28-7.
What they're talking about there, Thompson and Klein, I think Klein felt like Thompson was going to run his route more toward the middle of the field where he threw it. Thompson eventually got there, but had to make a diving catch to save the play.
Kickoff to the Shears from the 5. 20. And he is stopped there, where Kansas will take over with 2:04.
Bears, Bucks in London. That's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah. Amazing with Aaron Rodgers in that bunch. Cale Pick, the receiver here, is KU. A little more of a hurry up, trying to see if they can't get 1 more on the board before intermission. And it'll be a 2nd down and 2 after an 8-yard pickup on Webb's pass. Throws again and complete again to Beery, the tight end. Senior from Omaha, their leading receiver, coming in with 21 receptions. He gets 13 yards on that pickup. Clock at 1:43, stops for the 1st down.
He did a good job in the offseason reshaping his body. Lost some weight, runs better routes, better blocker. Wanted to really have an outstanding senior season. He's off to a good start.
He already surpassed last year's 19 reception year. Did have 4 TDs a year ago. Just 1 so far this season. Webb. And incomplete at the 46-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 1:36 remaining, intended for Beery. 2nd and 10 now for Kansas. Jayhawks at 2-4, coming in 0-3 in the Big 12. Trying to pull off the upset of 11th rated Kansas State. Webb delivers here, short of the 1st down to midfield. Pick again, the receiver. Clock still moving now, 1:25, and Kansas, remember, has 1 timeout remaining. Shears goes wide right along with Shepard is in the slot. 2 receivers to the left. And the pass out of the backfield to Sims, and Sims stops the clock, got the first down at the 46-yard line. Lemura made the tackle for the Wildcats.
Kansas's offenses have moved the football against everybody. Their problem has been in the red zone some and getting enough opportunities and possessions for the most part.
Yeah, they're averaging nearly 32 points a game, 7th in the Big 12. Again, the quick out and the deliver to Shears. EJ came in with 20 receptions for 293 yards, their leading receiver yardage-wise. And now the Jayhawks have got it as we approach the 1-minute mark, 2nd and 1.
Webb's arm strength is not an issue. Chuck Long told us last year that Webb has the strongest arm that he's coached. And remember, he was at Oklahoma with some pretty good quarterbacks.
Said he's done a much better job of studying the game and learning his options and then reacting on game day. And this one is complete to Stewart. Stewart moves the chain, stops the clock as they'll reset the football, and he's at the 34-yard line.
Sometimes when a kid is blessed with a powerful howitzer throwing arm, thinks that he doesn't have to study as much.
This one complete to Beery.
Nice.
This pitch and catch has been perfection moving it down the field. And that will move the chains, and just like that, with 50 seconds to go, the Jayhawks have it 1st and 10 at the 21 of the Wildcats.
You might want to do this for the entire second half because Kansas State has had to be very basic in their defense. They've gone basic coverages, basic fronts, and it's been really almost like 7-on-7 for the Jayhawks moving the football.
And Bill Snyder calls a timeout here for his club to catch its breath as Kansas has moved it quickly right down the field. Jayhawks, what a big momentum shift if they could again answer that K-State touchdown.
And really, Kansas self-destruction has been by penalty. When they're down a touchdown, they have a big kickoff return. It ends up being a 70-yard penalty. Then they kick out of bad field position after that penalty for first down, penalized again, and finally have to kick to Kansas State short field. Kansas State scores, and since that little sequence, it's been all downhill.
Our principal financial edge or player profile, hard to get better than this guy, Tyson Hartman.
Yeah, he's got time management figured out. His academics and his athletics are equally outstanding.
You see that degree in finance, principal? You might be thinking about giving him a call on that resume.
Yeah, he's just a very, very classy human being as well.
There's a situation, and a flag is thrown here as Webb is coming out. I think it's going to be against Kansas for the illegal procedure.
Ball start on the offense. Number 20, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Bashirs. Well, it's almost like by design. Kansas approaches the red zone.
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh, right?
Yeah. Here it is again. I mean, you move down the field, and you're methodical about it, and you get close to the scoring zone, and you self-destruct.
So it's first down still, but 15 for the first down. Jordan Webb. They come after him. Steps up into the pocket, going for the end zone.
Oh!
Almost an incredible catch as Beery trying to do the balancing act, and he was well covered. It was a heck of a throw.
I'll tell you, the reason the throw was able to be made at all, watch the blitz pickup right here. Sims on Brown. Whew.
Nice job.
That's some serious sticking right there. That's two good football players like Brahmabuls going at each other. Beery almost fingertips on it, full extension. Can he bring it down to his body? On top of his head, almost the Tyree type deal in the Super Bowl. David Tyree catch off the helmet, could not quite secure it.
Second down and 15, 43 seconds remaining in the half. Webb, Bashirs, he forges ahead. Bashirs still short of the first down. They'll hurry up. They got one timeout remaining. Malone and Lemura making the play. I think K-State thought Bashirs was going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, and honestly, so did I.
Yeah.
I thought he then save time and reload for another snap.
Third down. Across the middle, Bashirs, he'll score! Touchdown, Kansas!
Once again, they got the matchup they wanted. Wide receiver on linebacker. Arthur Brown is a very athletic young man, but Cale Pick isolated him out of the slot, and this time Bashir's isolated Arthur Brown out of the slot, and they got him for the touchdown. Watch number 4 in the white jersey, trying to stay with Bashir's little pivot route, separate, see ya.
Bashir's with the TD, a 13-yard pass from Webb. The kick is up and good by Mueller, and Kansas pulls back within a pair of touchdowns. 28-14 Bill Snyder, you can tell, not happy, but give KU some credit. They were superb on this drive.
Watch what happens. Bashir's is going to be picked up on the route. Arthur Brown tries to undercut him, takes a bad angle. Bashir's cuts right over in front of his face, and he catches the pass in the middle of the football field and turns those shoulders pads north and south and scores. Good design, good execution. Tough for a linebacker to undercut that route from that far away, because Bashir's is a make-you-miss guy in space. He made everybody miss.
So 14 seconds remain. So Kansas, you can't do it much better. You leave the opponent 14 ticks on the clock, you take it into the end zone, and now you say that, be careful, because Lockett, who's returned one for a touchdown before, not today, but this season. Let's see if they do the squibber here. Lockett is deep along with Tremaine Thompson. That's the plan. And it's taken at the 27-yard line across the 40. And that was Dowling.
Dowling had the big holding penalty on the Kansas State kickoff return, and he gets a chance to show what kind of ability do I have. Cover it up. Oh! Oh, you got smoked.
You want to run it? Guess what? You're going to get hit.
Dowling saying, yeah, I like it. Let me do that one more time.
All right, Kansas State has one timeout left, Dave. They do have the ball at the 43-yard line. Time for what? A medium pass and a chance for a long field goal attempt, possibly?
Sure. I mean, you've got time. But if I'm Kansas, I'm playing prevent even a little bit deeper. I get these guys deeper. I don't let anybody get behind me.
Here's Colin Klein. Got him out wide open. Oh, mama! Lockett makes one miss, and he's brought down at the 9, 1 second. The clock will stop with the first down. And Kansas State is going to get that field goal opportunity and almost a chip shot.
Amazing. A broken coverage. Turner Gill can't believe it. Like I was saying, you can't let anybody get deeper than you. And they let him just run right down the middle of the football field behind everybody. I would have played it everybody deeper, and certainly not let him just run right by like that. I mean, look at this. Just runs right down the middle of the football field. You can't let him get behind you. I mean, it's almost incomprehensible.
Everybody in the stadium knew the situation. Wow. Now Cantelli comes on for the field goal, and line of scrimmage is the 9, so he'll set up at the 16-yard line. Dorr is the holder for a 26-yard field goal attempt. Cantelli's kick is up, and it is good. He is now 9 of 13 as Cantelli converts on the 3-pointer.
Now, you talk about going into the locker room. You could have had all kinds of momentum. Now you go in with less momentum because of that broken coverage.
Emily standing by with Bill Snyder.
Thank you very much, Coach Snyder. You wanted to start out fast in this game, and you have.
Well, we did, but we slowed down a little bit and gave up some points that we don't need to be giving up.
Seems like you're controlling the line of scrimmage, averaging 7 yards a carry.
Well, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think our offensive line has played reasonably well. Yes.
Okay. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the second half, gentlemen.
Some of the Land family getting out for the weekend, enjoying this sunflower battle. 31-14 Kansas State with the lead. Let's send it down to Emily Jones with Kansas coach Turner Gill.
Thank you very much. Here with Coach Gill. And Coach, I'm sure you're disappointed with the way you guys have shot yourselves in the foot a little bit.
Yeah, penalty hurt us. We kind of have stopped ourselves defensively. We have a few little missed calls, and we got to come out here and execute like we're supposed to execute. Then we give us a chance to get in the game and then hopefully win it at the end.
Seems like offensively there late in the second half, you had some success passing the ball and going up tempo.
Well, we just try to get a little bit more tempo, get a little bit of rhythm going there, just mixing up with the runs and the passes. We had a few things going. We just made some minimal mistakes.
Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the second half. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Emily. And again, appreciate both coaches taking time out to visit with her as Kansas State's Bill Snyder has the upper hand once again, 31-14. As we get ready to kick it off here in the second half, Bill Land, Dave Lapham, Emily Jones with you. And 75-degree day in Lawrence as the kickoff to Lockett. And Lockett, little stutter step, 30, watch out, he's got one to beat. 45, stays in bounds, down the sideline, Tyler Lockett, oh mama, touchdown Wildcats.
What patience he showed, letting his blocking set up for him. Man, unbelievable effort. And again, another unscripted, unconventional score. Lockett takes it to the house. And Whataburger, what a play right here. Watch him hesitate, let his blocking set up, and he finds the crease, and then it's just a sprint. Bad angle by the kicker. Kicker's not going to catch him. Lockett says, see ya, coast to coast. Amazing.
Last week, he went 100 yards on a return against Texas Tech. Today, it's 97 yards against rival Kansas, and the kick good by Cantelli, and the Wildcats a stunner to start the second half, 38-14. Really the Wildcat. Yeah, puffy-chested after that kick return of 97 yards by Lockett, and Cantelli will kick it off for Kansas State now as KU will get the return, and this one to Brandon Bourbon. 15, Bourbon at the 20. He breaks to the 25, flags are flying though. 40, and knocked off his feet about the 47-yard line. David Garrett making the tackle, but we'll sort out the laundry here.
There's a bunch of it, 3 different flags. I don't know if 2 saw the same thing or all 3 saw different infractions, but it's going to move Kansas back. It's going to move Kansas back big time.
And also, flags are flying even through his hat.
Yeah, that's usually somebody's out of bounds and comes back in bounds and can't be the first to do whatever, but unless his hat just fell off. But the initial flags on the opposite side of the field as the return got underway.
Kansas State just taking the air out of this Kansas crowd with that kickoff return by Lockett to start the second half.
There are 3 fouls on the play, all against the receiving team. During return, blocking the back, receiving team number 32. Penalties decline. During the return, holding, receiving team number 65. There'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team, number 20. Will penalize half the distance from the goal on that. First down.
Well, now you got a team that's losing their poise.
Yep.
So you have to make sure that you just can't do that at all costs. You have to maintain your poise.
Those KU fans show you the attitude, checking the phones.
So now you start at your 8-yard line. Not good.
And it has been the story throughout this game that every time they've had, just about any time they've had anything positive or an answer to the Kansas State offense, some kind of penalty has brought it back.
Hey, they got to stuff all the laundry back in their proper spots.
Your head back on, and so we'll see what Webb and crew will do with the ball. First to 10, and now a fumble, and Kansas State, I believe, is recovered.
The mesh point between Sims and Webb was not there. Latui, I think, came up with it.
Yep, by Latui, junior out of Salt Lake City, Utah, one of the many junior college transfers who's been a huge part of their undefeated start.
Actually, Sims is throwing the block, and you know,
Pearson with a loose
yeah,
hand.
Pearson, you got to be able to secure that football. The mesh point not quite secure enough, and once it's on the ground, Latui comes up with it.
I don't know if there's any toes left on the Kansas feet to be shot at, because this ball club now with Klein and crew setting up And they're going to go shot with the Wildcat here with the direct snap and almost scoring.
Just short.
Yeah, just shy. That was Angelo Peace, the junior from Cairo, Georgia.
And now it's not just penalties. Now you have a turnover, and you have a turnover on your shadow of your own end zone. You put your defense in a real bind, and Kansas State almost goes right for the jugular to score on the first play.
Now Klein back under center, or so it would appear. He's got Harper left. Klein looking for his 4th TD of the day. Waiting for the signal as they'll unpile. Yes, touchdown. Colin Klein.
Collins, he's 6'5", Bill. So when you're 6'5", all you have to do is fall forward. The offensive line gets any surge at all he has to do is fall forward, and he's going to score. That's exactly what he does. Good leg drive. He gets a little assistance, too, from behind. A little push in the back to make sure, by Tannehill, to make sure that he gets over the goal line.
So Klein, his 4th touchdown of the afternoon, and the Wildcats 44-14, anticipating one more from Cantelli. And they got it. Kansas State lighting up the Jayhawks in Lawrence, 45-14 on College Football Saturday. 45-14 Kansas State as the Wildcats 17 points in 1:08 of time, and our Delta Faucet scoring drive, you'll call it that, 2 plays, 8 yards. Klein, his 4th rushing touchdown of the day, his 14th of the season, and the Wildcats, they put the foot on the throat as the Jayhawks will receive the kickoff.
Kansas has now given up 42 points or more in 6 straight football games.
And the kick. Jackson on the return. Marquise Jackson, 35, and brings one with him. And he is stopped at the 38-yard line by Curry Sexton after a 19-yard return. Here are the jack-in-the-box possessions from the first half as well as current as you take a look at KU.
Well, a slow start, obviously. You know, you're looking at these 2 drives where you have minus yardage, 4 punts, and you throw a couple of touchdowns together, and you start your drive here to start the second half and fumble the football and put your defense in a stressful situation.
Webb on 1st and 10. Got some pass pro, now in trouble, scrambles, trying to throw it away. And at least I thought he was. Cale picked the intended receiver, but he was well covered on the play. Out there was David Garrett.
Little jump ball situation. David Garrett, 5'8", 175 pounds, wasn't giving anything up.
No, and Pick, although 6'1", Garrett, he is a bulldog. It is 2nd down and 10 now for the Jayhawks. Sims out to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line for James Sims, sophomore from Irving, Texas, out of MacArthur High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Now Kansas finds themselves in a familiar spot, unfortunately, having played from behind. They've rushed for 207 yards a game. Could be about 250 yards a game if they wouldn't have to play from behind so regularly and could stay with their running game.
Well, one thing, Dave, I mean, you know they're not going to go out to an all-out throwing game, but the hurry up, another fumble, and Kansas State has got it again. I was just going to say the hurry up had been effective for them, but nothing going right for the Jayhawks now as the Wildcats get it again inside Kansas territory on the fumble. And Childs, I believe, with a fumble recovery.
I think Adam Davis might have made a big hit on it, and I think Childs did come up with it. Yeah, Davis is the one, and he's ripping at it, and he has the big hit. And really, over the top, Ray Kibble hustling, knocks it out of there. Pretty good effort by all the defensive front. I'm going to take a look and see if the knee was down before the fumble. Was Webb's knee down on the ground before the ball came out?
Yeah, probably. Replay action here. Jarrell Childs was the one that came up with it.
Kansas is challenging the ruling on the field. that the runner was down before the ball came out.
Let's see. He's balancing himself. Boy, is the right knee down. The left knee's not. The
Ruling
left
on the
knee's
field
not.
was
The right
fumble,
knee's not.
recovery by Kansas State.
I think that's going to stand. I mean, you can tripod yourself with your hand like he did, his right hand. His knees still weren't down on the ground. The ball was knocked out of there. It's close. But I do think that, that the call will stand. It has to be indisputable evidence otherwise.
Turner Gill looking at, hey, you're down 45-14. You got to take every possible shot, because Kansas State just mentioned that scoring
After
17
review,
at
the
108.
ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball was fumbled and recovered by the defense. Kansas will be charged their first time out of the second half, and they're out of challenges for the rest of the game.
Nice job by Adam Davis and Ray Kibble combining, making Webb spit the football up.
So what will Klein and company come up with here? First and 10 on the 48, as the Wildcats been averaging 29 points a game. They're sitting at 45 early moments third quarter. And Klein again showing that ball to Hubert and then pulling it back. Agostino with the tackle. Here's the Kansas State possessions, brought to you by Jack in the Box with a possession chart.
Well, they start out with a 3 and out, not so good, and then after that, man, how about 6 straight possessions, score 5 of those 6, touchdown. Whew. First possession, what happened to 1, 2, 3 and out?
Well, and the field goal was only because it was the end of the half, or they most likely would have scored again there.
And Lockett got chewed out by Snyder because they had a timeout to burn. He should have gotten down earlier. He lucked out, and there was a second left on the clock where they could stop it.
The Wildcat formation, Peace, the 40, 35, and Peace.
Number 29,
another one of the JUCOs out of Hutchinson. And a nice block that time by Tannehill to set up this run.
No question, Tannehill, this is a little counter action. Watch Tannehill follow his fullback Wilson, then Tannehill right here, and then come off it and get yourself another one. Why not get 2 blocks? And then on the perimeter, scuffling. I mean, Kansas State is just so salty. They you know, one block's not good enough. Go get yourself a pair of blocks. Why not?
12-yard pickup. Ball at the 32, first and 10. And the handoff, and here's Hubert. He thought he should have scored. They are all fired up. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff players. Well, hard to go wrong with Klein and then Lockett. And Jordan Webb's been steady for Kansas.
Yeah, Jordan Webb's had an effective game, but boy, Klein, he's throwing the ball with great accuracy and a career-high yards already. Plus, he's rushed for 4 touchdowns and 67 yards. And Lockett with the big special teams touchdown.
Klein, it's a career day passing yardage-wise already, and this is maybe a matter of how long they want to play him. Hubert on the pitch from Klein. Kansas, pretty good swarm action that time. Stops him at the 19-yard line. Keyston Terry.
As you can see right there, what Kansas State does is they take a lot of time at the line of scrimmage, and at the very end of the play clock, we'll look to the sideline for one last adjustment. They get that, they take the time to look at your defensive structure, and then they give their players the best possible play to get into.
Lockett and Harper go wide left. As Klein to throw it here on 2nd and long. Oh, just missing, connecting across the middle. Andre McDonald, the intended receiver. First and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda.
Andre McDonald is 6'8", 276 pounds. Is hard to miss down the middle of the football field. Looks like a skyscraper.
Sophomore out of Choctaw, Oklahoma's had 6 receptions on the year. So it is 3rd down and 9 at the 19 of the Jayhawks. Kansas State threatening to score again. Klein, wide open, touchdown, Lockett. The slaughter continues. 51-14 as Lockett gets his second touchdown of the day. His first receiving TD of the day, his second of the year.
Starts with the protection. Vision totally unimpeded, stands tall in that pocket like a power forward at 6'5". Looks over any pressure, and he finds Lockett just wide open. Lockett, he'll score a special teams. He'll score as a receiver. He's talented.
And Cantelli for the point after. It is true. And Kansas State, Lockett in your living room with another TD, 52-14 Cats. Our Toyo Tires Driven to Perform player, Colin Klein. He does have it rolling today.
He sure does. Zone read for his first 2 touchdowns. Then they just shotgun snap to him. He follows his fullback Wilson, and the big offensive line keeps pushing, as does he. And then finally the last one, a little quarterback sneak, closes up behind the offensive line again. Surge by the O-line, finish by Klein.
There are the numbers, 10 for 67 and 4 scores. And Lockett, who had that thrilling play to end the first half, and then a kick return, and now a TD on a pass play. And here's Bourbon on the return for the Jayhawks. Stopped at the 25-yard line. Oklahoma State trying to stay unbeaten and continue on toward that showdown with Oklahoma December 3rd. Still a lot of football for both those schools before that happens, but what a matchup that could be. Speaking of matchup, and then somehow Brown let him get away. Arthur Brown, he just smacked Miller,
Man,
but didn't quite finish him off.
you talk about a downhill read. Watch Arthur Brown. Come on downhill, my man. Boom! Boy, that's just a good effort just to get away from that. But that's a blitz, a run blitz. He makes his read. It's good contact.
We haven't talked a lot about Arthur Brown. He's been a huge part of this Kansas State defense, and just an absolute anchor. The junior out of Wichita that transferred from Miami. And meanwhile, his brother Bryce, who was the more heralded player, if you will, the offensive player, is no longer a part of the squad. And but on this side, Arthur has been phenomenal. Came in leading with 45 tackles, 4.5 for loss. He's had that big pick against Robert Griffin III in the Baylor win that set up the winning field goal.
What he's done such a good job of, he's an extreme talent physically, but he's playing discipline, hitting the right gaps. Initially, he didn't. Now he's really learned to do that.
3rd and 9 for Kansas. Webb complete to the 27, shy of the first down on the reception by Christian Matthews, the sophomore from Arlington, Texas. And the Jayhawks will have to kick it away. Still 9 minutes to go, 3rd quarter.
David Garrett with a very sure tackle, took his legs right out from under him.
Doherty will come on to punt it. Tyler Lockett is deep, and you know he'd like to break another one.
Yeah, I'd punt it away from him.
Yeah. He stands back on his 27-yard line. Doherty takes the snap. High kick. Lockett have an opportunity. Oh, he dropped it. Kansas signaling they've got this one. But a Wildcat comes out of there with a football. Let's see what. It's Kansas State football.
Lockett took his eyes off the football at the last second to try to see where he could run. You can't do that. You have to look it in.
That's Herzog, number 59, said, "My football, give it here."
He's the biggest one in the pile, and he came away with the pig. That's a good job. He saw it just laying out there.
And Lockett owes him dinner.
Yeah.
His coach is going to say, "I know you've got 2 touchdowns. Can't take your eye off the football." Herzog got it back for him, though. Hubert. Still on his feet, spinning out of bounds. And got to the 41-yard line. Michael Reynolds, a freshman out of Wichita, came from Mount Carmel High School, made the stop for the Kansas defense.
In Kansas State right now, I think Bill Snyder will probably try to put the Jayhawks in the meat grinder and just continue to run the football. Make this almost like a run scrimmage right now. And and just melt that clock. The clock is a huge ally to him when he's already hung half 100 on you.
Yeah, and they certainly live on the ground game anyway, averaging 206 yards per game. And then the fact that just play keep away, realizing the only way you could possibly have a chance of losing this game is if you make a bunch of turnovers at this point. And not much gain there as Dent made the tackle. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, we all know this is a bitter in-state rivalry, but for the family and friends of Jamie Pursley, this Sunflower Showdown has very special meaning. Jamie lost her battle with cancer about 6 months ago, but she was receiving her treatments, a diehard Kansas State fan right here in Lawrence. And before she lost her battle 6 months ago, she let it be known to her family and friends that she wanted to give back to this community that had been so good to her. And so she challenged them to raise $100,000 to go toward renovating 15 infusion rooms at Lawrence Memorial Hospital. So they set up a website called jamieswish.org. Since mid-August, they've raised $33,000 on their way to $100,000. They're all here not wearing purple or blue today, but instead wearing pink shirts in Jamie's honor.
That is classy, I'll tell you what. And you see the website there for more information and contributions, jamieswish.org. And isn't it great when you do have, and this rivalry can get pretty heated,
right, that
people are able to see the bigger side of things and come together for such a great cause.
No doubt. A lot of causes and common bonds.
They got a piece of that punt that time by Dorr, and it'll roll across the 40, and Kansas going to get it back on the 31, 32-yard line, and 24 yards on the punt.
I think Heaney got his hand on that bad boy. Let's see if Heaney went up and got a little piece of that.
Yeah,
he did. His left hand.
Ben Heaney
got a chunk.
Freshman from Hutchinson, Kansas. Jayhawks trying to create something on the special teams and at least get a little bit better field position out of it. With 6:48 to go in the third quarter. Bill Snyder.
Well, in the last 6.5 quarters of football, Bill Snyder's Wildcats have outscored the Jayhawks 111-21. 59-7 last year, 52-14 so far in this one.
And the game was here last year as well. So that's without going to Manhattan. Bourbon with the carry and goes out of bounds at the 42, making the 43-yard line. Yeah, and people are wondering sometimes in the Big 12 why some of these teams are playing back-to-back at the same location. It's because of Colorado and Nebraska exiting the league and resetting the schedule.
Right.
That quirk has happened. Bourbon again with the carry here.
You got a flag.
Legal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It takes away another first down. First down rushing is not going to happen. Instead of a 1st and 10, it's a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Kansas State well on its way to going 7-0 for the first time since 1999. The Jayhawks setting up a monster showdown with Oklahoma next weekend in Manhattan.
Turn up.
Jordan Webb completes this one outside to Bourbon.
Kansas State is such a fundamentally sound football team in space. They tackle. I mean, they're out there one-on-one, and instead of making the first tackle or miss, more times than not, Kansas State has taken them to the ground. It's been impressive.
Now, it hadn't taken long for Bill Snyder just reestablish his whole mantra and discipline of football with this club coming back. And this is 3rd year. His return. Bourbon again. He's tackled by Garrett.
Good example of what I'm talking about. In space, one-on-one. David Garrett, the last 2 opportunities he's had, he has taken the legs right out from under the running backs. He's a very, very fine football player in space.
11 tackles today for Garrett. How about that? As they'll have to kick it away, and Tyler Lockett is deep again. Doherty stands on his 27-yard line. Lower kick this time, and
you can't do that.
Yeah, he's calling fair catch.
Right.
No flag is thrown. He stopped at the 18-yard line. This college football season, Fox Sports proud to support Dream Foundation, who are making dreams come true for adults facing a life-threatening illness. There's no greater time to help those in need than when time is limited. Text DREAM to 41518 to donate $10 and turn dreams into lasting memories. With 5:01 on the clock, Kansas State possession, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Colin Klein leading the way with 4 touchdowns scored, and keeps it himself and takes it for a 1st down as he brings it to the 32. Another team that people weren't looking at seriously at the beginning of the year as far as what they've done. Kansas State certainly fitting that category. The Wildcats rolling here 52-14, and Klein again with Johnson on the stop.
Well, he might as well get 100 yards rushing. He's done it 3 times. He's got a career high 4 rushing touchdowns, I believe, today. A career high passing yards today. Might as well set a career high rushing mark today in terms of yards. I mean, Klein has definitely been the straw that stirs the drink for sure, a total catalyst.
Well, he's at 89 rushing for the afternoon, so it's a matter of when, with 3:46 and rolling here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 1 for Klein. Timeout, Kansas State.
Look to the sideline late to get the final adjustment, and the play clock melted a little too much for Colin Klein.
And as Bill Snyder strolls the sideline, our Brown Hand Center great hands of the game play. Well, hard to argue. We're talking about her talk with that play. Take a look again as he rips this football away.
Yeah, it was his. He's saying, you know what? In those situations, the strongest hands, wrists, and forearms win. And his hands were great and strong.
Some of those sponsored elements, as we call them, don't fit. That one does. The Brown Hand Center, great hands of the game. What a play. And keeping possession there for Kansas State. Ball at the 41. 2nd and 1 following the timeout. Klein, Loveland, Colorado, keeps the football for the 1st down. Moves it to about the 43.
The way Herzog was ripping that ball out of there, he looked like a little kid opening his first Christmas present in his life. I mean, he was in there digging it out, boy. He was getting after that thing. Kansas got to be very disappointed. Coming in today, they thought that the tempo and style of play in this football game would be suiting them better, and they self-destructed, didn't give themselves a chance. You got to take yourself off your schedule. Kansas State's too good.
Yeah, it happened right from the beginning, even though Kansas State led 7-0 after 1 quarter. And then that wild 2nd quarter where Kansas State was leading at the half 31-14 when Ken Telly hit the field goal with time expiring. And then K-State just exploding to start the 3rd quarter. Lockett on the 97-yard kickoff return to open the half. And then Klein picking it up after the fumble recovery. And then Lockett a 19-yard TD reception from Klein.
It's a lot of scoring right there.
2:28 to go here in the 3rd. Call it action cam. What a view you have.
Got them outnumbered. Too many hats. 1 extra hat at the point of attack. That's what Bill Snyder's all about. Out leverage you. Gets both his tight ends and his fullback to the same side of the line of scrimmage. Puts a lot of stress on the defense to shift and make sure they're aligned properly and then hit the proper gaps. So he just tries to out formation you, motion you, put hesitation in the linebackers' minds. All they have to do is freeze a half a step and he's got the edge.
Willis making the tackle on Hubert that time. And it's 3rd down and 4 to go for Kansas State. Makes the pass, in trouble under pressure, and just throws it away. And they'll send on the punt team here. Surprised at all they're even thrown in that situation, Dave?
You know, it's again, the professor is a contrarian thinker.
Yeah, that's the unexpected, right?
I mean, with him, Bill Snyder is he is always thinking multiple plays ahead. It's amazing how he knows his offense so well. He is a play ahead of you at all times. It really is astounding.
Shears and McDougal are deep. Dorr, the punter. Fair catch called for by DJ Bashirs and takes care of that. And that's where Kansas will operate after a 37-yard punt from Ryan Dorr, the junior out of Katy, Texas. Jayhawks coming in 2-4, 0-3, and have lost 4 in a row. And then through that meat grinder of back-to-back with Oklahoma last weekend, Oklahoma State and Lawrence the week before where they were throttled. And the last 5 teams have averaged 55 against them. And nobody has scored less than 45. And here's Kansas State with 52 today. They have just really struggled defensively. And a pitch and catch to Matthews. He is bumped hard after the completion, but that'll be a first down for the Jayhawks, a gain of 15 yards for Kansas.
Christian Matthews, high school quarterback. You know, that happens a lot. I mean, schools recruit quarterbacks and change them to other positions. And a lot of times you see former quarterbacks at the receiver position, and they understand that position.
Jordan Webb, the sophomore signal caller for Kansas, long snap count. Now Sims looking for a hole and pushes hard to the 35-yard line before Arthur Brown makes the tackle.
Taking a look at Arthur Brown for the first time in person, totally impressed. I mean, he has got tremendous speed, tremendous instincts. And when he makes his mind up, Arthur Brown, that middle linebacker for Kansas State, is coming downhill at you.
8 tackles so far today for Brown. You see Sims cramping up here as needs some help to come off the field.
You know, people say, how can you cramp on a day like today? Today is not that hot a day. If you don't keep up with your fluids, and if during the course of the week your diet wasn't right and the intake of fluids wasn't right, you can cramp up because you're exerting a lot of energy out there, and you don't realize how the amount of fluid you're still losing on a day like today, and you don't really keep up with the fluid intake a lot of times.
Sims, their leading rusher, sophomore. It's a nice hand from the fans as he goes off, and it'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Jayhawks. Pearson replaces him at the running back spot.
The bad thing is, once they start, they don't go in reverse. They keep coming in waves.
On the carry, not much doing there, and stopped at the 35-yard line. Yeah, and for Kansas, I mean, they've already faced, we're talking about the toughness of the Big 12. They go to a Texas next week. I mean,
right.
And even though the Longhorns have suffered a few bumps in the road, that's no easy touch by any means.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter as they count it down here. And Kansas, big work to do if they're going to make a monumental comeback here in the 4th quarter. Take a look here. You see the total yardage. That's not so bad, 374, 226. But Dave put a big circle in the turnovers and the penalties. That's been the killer for Kansas.
That's been the definition of self-destruction. 9 penalties given up over a football field in hidden yards. Can't win.
Well, Lewis in the black field. Watch out. Webb got hit as he tried to unload that one. Incomplete. And Lemoore putting the pressure on him. Jordan Webb, who is now 21 of 28 today, 169 yards. His counterpart, Klein, 12 of 19 for 195 and a TD. While Klein has also run for 92 yards and 4 scores.
Averaging over 7 yards a carry on his rushes. He's only run it 13 times and has accumulated 92 yards. Kansas is averaging just over 2 yards a carry. 27 rushes, a mere 57 yards. Kansas State's defense has been great against the run.
Doherty, his 7th punt here. He's averaged 41 yards per kick. He's at 43 plus for the season. This one a fair catch by Lockett. And Kansas State will take over there here in the early moments of the 4th quarter. A 39-yard kick by Ron Doherty. Kansas saying, this is what kind of day it's been. Knocking your beak against the camera. Jayhawk fans trying to keep the good attitude as the Hawks not to slip to 0-4 in Big 12 play. Kansas State, meanwhile, looking to go 7-0 overall, 4-0 in the conference. And the Big 12, talking about all this BCS, they have 3 teams unbeaten still, with Kansas State at number 11. Here's Lamour, the number 2 quarterback coming in. He tosses on the pitch. Samuel Lamour is a senior out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Schubert, the ball carrier that time.
Lamour, 6'4", 220-pounder.
First and 10 line brought to you by Mazda. It'll be 2nd and 4 after that 6-yard pickup by Hubert.
He's got some long arms on him, Samuel Lamour. Long body, long arms, very athletic. Starting to learn the offense. It's coming to him at a different pace.
Brother Emmanuel, mainstay on the defensive side for the Wildcats. Samuel out of a couple of different junior colleges before coming to Kansas State. He was at Independence for a year, Joliet, Illinois, Independence, Kansas prior to that. And Colin Klein, take the helmet off, and he can take the pads off too at this point, as Klein, just an outstanding afternoon. And Dave, you talk a lot about his ability to take a hit. Folks are saying that there's been some Mondays where he's looking like he's been in a train wreck, but they say actually he's been getting better as far as, I don't know if his body's just adjusting to it, they're protecting him a little better, whatever, but you're going to run that Kansas State offense, you're going to get hit.
And he's got Murderer's Row coming too.
Yeah.
All the defenses he's going to be playing against him, he's going to take some shots.
Oklahoma next, and then at Oklahoma State, followed by Texas A&M and at Texas.
That's but Colin Klein, it's time for him to recline right now. Just kick back and chill and watch the conclusion of this football game. I mean, he gave a maximum effort. A career high in rushing touchdowns with 4, career high in passing yards. Just an outstanding day.
First and 10 for the Wildcats under the backup Lamour. Looking at play clock as well here. Hands off to Hubert. Hubert just keeps on churning, moving those legs, and he's got a first down and a scrum along with it. What an impressive run by John Hubert. 14 yards with this game pretty well decided. Tells you the effort.
He's only 5'7", but he's got tremendous leg strength. He's under everybody's pads because of his height, and then he's just grinding away.
Look at those offensive linemen coming in there going, we're going to help you out a second time. We tried to give you a little hole, now we'll give you a push from behind.
I'll tell you what, that's hats off to him. I mean, he's going to compete every single snap.
In the Wildcat formation, and Peace will take the snap. Peace breaks one, and he's got another first down as he takes it inside the 40, and we'll check in with Kevin Frazier now, Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Break.
Birthday boy LaMichael James carrying a cake in his left hand, injured, right hand empty, but he says he's ready to go against Colorado today. We'll have to see if he's allowed to play. Number 10 Oregon and Colorado coming up next.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Ducks and Buffs. Now from the action cam viewpoint, the Wildcat formation, Peace to receive it again.
Peace is feeling pretty comfortable there because he's got Wilson and he's got Travis Tannehill on his hip. He's got a big 255-pound fullback and a 245-pound tight end as personal protective bodyguards, lead blocking for him, and that's how Kansas State out-leverages you. They have a double lead blocker with Pease taking the shotgun snap.
Kansas setting up here as hands on hips for Johnson and crew. 92 Dorsey.
Very demoralizing the way this game has progressed.
Lamour hands it off. Hubert again looking for a hole and finding him somehow. Loose pigskin. Kansas looking to pounce on it.
Kansas State has retained possession. They put it on the ground a couple of times, but have not lost possession in so doing.
He came in second in the league, 11th nationally in turnover margin.
They were +6. They're +8 today. Ball's out. But Kansas State, I mean, Kansas had the best shot at it. Must have overrun it. Kansas State comes up with it. They're +8. They only have 1 penalty today for 10 yards. They had 10 penalties last week. It bothered Bill Snyder. Just one today, and Kansas has had a ton.
Peace again. Wildcat formation got the first down. Yeah, they've gained 15 turnovers. They've only lost 7 on the year, while Kansas had come in -5 in the gain category, or gained 5. They lost 9, now lost 11.
So they're -6, -4 coming in. And that's in my mind, the truest stat in football. That's why one team is undefeated and enjoying a solid season. It's why the other one has lost a bunch of games in a row and struggling.
Yeah, very few teams survive that turnover situation. You may get away with it a game or two, but over the course of the year, it just kills you. Again, Peace. Got out of bounds.
Number 29.
Peace getting himself a good piece of the Kansas offense, of the Kansas defense for sure. And again, just out leveraging the Jayhawks by formation with the big fullback and the big tight end. They got their big boy pads on and just getting the edge.
9:42 and counting here in the football game with Kansas State rolling and in the red zone again. 52-14, 1st and 10. Wildcats, the backups in as Lemur again will take the snap. Keeps it himself. He may score. He does. Got some quicks now as Samuel Lemur rolls into the end zone, and the Wildcats. Well, we mentioned it was 59-7 last year. Well, it's about to become 59-14 this year.
Unbelievable in blocking. Watch number 88 receiver Miller at the goal line. Look at the blocking at the goal line to allow his quarterback to score. I mean, Terrell Miller just stuck, stalked, finished.
So Cantelli on for the PAT, Door the holder, and it is 59. 59-14 with 9:17 remaining. The Wildcats still pumping out those push-ups as Kansas State at 59-14. And our BMW Ultimate Drive, everybody getting in on the fun as Samuel Lemur caps off a 10-play, 74-yard drive, and Kansas State, how about that note, Dave? 8 for 8 in the red zone. Making it the purple zone.
Yeah, that's it's the green zone, green for go. I mean, they're scoring at will.
Marquise Jackson takes this one on the 13 for Kansas. And he is stopped short of the 30-yard line. Well, the Wildcats have come to play today. No doubt about that. 59-14. Here is the Sprint Unlimited update. It was 31-14 at the half, and then Kansas State said, let's just finish it early.
And Lockett, great patience, little stutter step to let his blocking unfold for him, and he finishes it. And then Kansas starts turning it over. Fumble, short field. Klein finishes with a quarterback sneak. Then Klein hits Lockett over the top. Touchdown pass. And Lemur says, hey, let me get into the action a little bit. Excellent blocking on the perimeter, and he finishes. And
now Kansas with it 1st and 10, and Miller, the ball carrier. Miller to the 30, spinning forward to the 35-yard line. We have 9:02 to go in the game, and Kansas trailing 59-14 as Kansas State doing its part to stay unbeaten in Big 12 play. The Big 3, that's Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State, the unbeaten trio. And the 3 highest rated BCS teams, Oklahoma number 3, Oklahoma State number 4, and the Wildcats coming in number 11. Oklahoma State trying to take care of Missouri as we speak. And Oklahoma has Texas Tech tonight in Norman before they go to Manhattan next weekend. And
don't sleep on Texas Tech.
No, certainly OU though's been just about unbeatable in Norman.
Yep, they have. I mean, that's about as safe a bet as you can make.
1st and 10. Oh, another loose pigskin, and it kicked around. Jordan Webb trying to come up with it. Loose football. Miller finally smothers it. back on the 15. We'll see where they mark it, maybe the 17-yard line. And a loss of 28 yards. My goodness.
Self-destruction continues. Webb, I mean, just trying to secure the ball. It's kicked by Hatch. Ball goes backwards and can't quite. Miller does the right thing. Fall on it. Don't try to pick it up. Good job by the true freshman. Smart, because Kansas State Wildcat defenders were closing in on him. If he mishandles that ball, it's another unscripted defensive score.
Now Miller, outstanding high school career in Blue Springs, Missouri. 88 touchdowns, 6,565 yards. Here he is, looking for a crease here. Flag is thrown. And it was 2nd and 38, so they had some yards to give up, but I think Spike's going to be called for holding.
Holding on the offense, number 74. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Yep, that's the culprit.
They get spikes for holding, but at this point, Kansas State says forget about it. But, you know, one guy I'd like to give a little tribute to, and that's Jeremiah Hatch. It's a blowout football game, 59-14. He's taken every snap. You know, it was questionable if he was going to even play at all. He had a severe injury, lost feeling in his neck and shoulder against Oklahoma. He went off the field in an ambulance. He's taken every snap today. He's a warrior. He's the captain. He's after it.
Handoff going this time to Pearson. Tony Pearson, the freshman from East St. Louis, Missouri, Illinois, and out to the 32. And it'll be 4th down.
It's easier to play the game when you're on Bill Snyder's side and you have a 59-14 lead. It's tougher to play the game when you're on Turner Gill's side and you're down 59-14 and have some pain and injury. And I just respect what Jeremiah Hatch has done today. I tip my cap to the guy.
Thompson, the deep man, as Doherty punts it away. Thompson, fair catch at the 28-yard line. And there'll be a break in the action here with 6:23 remaining. The Wildcats rolling toward their 7th consecutive win. Today's Polaris hardest working player. How about Tyler Lockett? What a job he's done today.
He has been a big play waiting to happen. Tremendous speed, acceleration. He gets 0 to 60 pretty darn quickly. But the good thing is he has patience while he's doing it. That's hard to do. Also, pretty good receiver down the football field, over the top, stretch the defense. Lockett has got a nice career ahead of him.
And of course, his dad, Kevin Lockett, outstanding player, one of the top receivers in K-State history. His Uncle Aaron, and looks like he's going to make his own history. The freshman out of Booker T. Washington and Tulsa. Another spectacular performance here today. And that kick return against Texas Tech yesterday. And there was, again, 5 catches, 110 yards. 97-yard kickoff return, his 2nd kickoff return for a TD.
Ruling on the field, the ball was fumbled by the runner, recovered by the defense. First down.
Ball was left on the ground by Kansas State, and they're saying that Kansas has got the football. They get possession. Let's see. As he's trying to finish the play, good little stiff arm.
Peace.
Is he down? Oh, he's down. But they ruled the ball out, but looked like his left knee. It looked like a bunch of things were down. Looked like his knee's down. The ball's still up. His knee is down. Is he have possession of the ball? Is he starting to lose possession of it? Starting to move out of his hand before that knee hits the ground is the key.
Kansas State is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
Right knee down. Is the ball? Had he started to lose possession before that right knee was down? Bill Snyder wants to challenge. He's not going to like the lack of ball security on that carry no matter what, whether they rule it a fumble or not. Watch. He's got the tripod, the knee right there.
Knee.
Ball still in his hand, but as the ball started to move out of his hand before he hits the ground, I think they may overturn it. We'll see.
Yeah, and Bill Snyder obviously fighting for his team now, but also going, there'll be a message delivered out of this one way or another.
Right.
It doesn't matter what this video replay shows.
Right. You don't want to be sloppy in the ball handling.
No. Well, and he's the first to tell you that, hey, some things have gone our direction. He said, we've done well, our kids are playing hard, we have really good chemistry, and we've gotten some bounces, and realizes that, hey, the schedule's going to get tougher, and now you become more of the hunted instead of the hunter. People are saying, hey, Kansas State is back. Whereas the season started, they just thought, yeah, we know the Wildcats will be okay.
Right.
So it's a whole different deal adding into going into what they've got remaining on their schedule.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner's knee was down prior to the ball coming out. It will be 2nd down and 5 on the 33-yard line.
So Bill Snyder, good challenge.
And Kansas State will maintain possession, and the Wildcats be a 2nd down coming up here with 6:12 to go. You haven't been with us. 7-0 Kansas State after 1 quarter. A wild 2nd quarter, ended up 31-14 at the half KSU, and then the Wildcats just hammered them early minutes of the 3rd quarter, scoring 3 touchdowns in the first 4.5 minutes and sealed this one. And
pass complete to number 19, Zach McFall.
On the carry, McFall on the reception.
Number 40, Ray Mitchell.
Everybody's going to get a little work now. Everybody gets their letter this afternoon. When in the 4th quarter you have a 59-14 lead, Bill Snyder has the luxury of getting a look at a lot of people in live conditions.
And with their lack of scholarship numbers, an injury or two, you never know who you might end up seeing one of these guys later on in critical situations.
Right.
Lemure tosses this one complete and out across the 42-yard line. That is Harrison Davis on the receiving end. And here's a good look in the graphic of what is ahead. 4 straight ranked teams, including 2 in the top 10, back-to-back, the Sooners and the Cowboys. And then Texas A&M, and then at Texas before finishing up December 3rd against Iowa State.
Well, Kansas State's undefeated, Oklahoma's undefeated, Oklahoma State's undefeated at this point. No matter what happens today, something's going to give.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at murderer's row right there. Undefeateds clashing very late in the season.
Of course, the other huge matchup out of that is the Bedlam game with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, December 3rd. Rose on the carry this time. We're inside 5 minutes remaining at the 44-yard line.
What Bill Snyder also likes, back-to-back years, obviously, he's qualified for a bowl game. And last year went to a bowl, and that helped because, you know, as he's turning his program around, all those extra practices, they're all helpful as he tries to install his system. And they've come along pretty darn well, and always does a good job adding components from the junior college ranks.
Lost a wild one in that Pinstripe Bowl up in New York, 36-34 to your old school, Syracuse.
Yeah.
You probably gave them all of the K-State plans, no doubt. Here's Lemure as he is tackled at the 45-yard line. Isaac Wright making the stop, number 47 for Kansas. Syracuse coming up with a big win last night against West Virginia.
Yeah, they've beaten West Virginia back-to-back seasons when the Mountaineers were ranked.
Thought Kansas would have a better opportunity to pull off the upset today. Didn't anticipate this one going the way it did, but early mistakes in the penalties, and I think KU got down on itself very quickly.
Yeah, I think they are fragile a little bit psychologically, and when they self-destructed early, it snowballed.
Bashirs and McDougal are deep. Dorr, the punter. And it's returned. Here's McDougal. McDougal across the 25 and stopped at the 28-yard line. That's where Kansas will operate with 3:10 remaining. Down a ton. Quinn Meekum comes into quarterback for Kansas, a senior out of Provo, Utah. And wow, big pop put that time on Tony Pearson carrying the football to the 35, 36-yard line. Kansas possession. We go into 3 minutes remaining here.
Everybody in the game right now is trying to expand their role, get more snaps. So you're not going to see guys taking plays off. You got the backups wanting more time.
Yep, some clean unis out there right now. This one handed off as Pearson's got a lot of opportunities today. Out to the 38-yard line. Well, Kansas came in, or Kansas State, I should say, the #2 scoring defense in the league, allowing 19.5. Well, if they continue at this pace, they'll bring that down a little bit. That's second in the league, 21st nationally.
And they were only allowing 3.2 yards per carry coming in, and Kansas didn't get that at this point, so they've done well.
Pass complete out in the flat, and for the Jayhawks, Mundine with the reception. Jaime Mundine, a redshirt freshman out of Denison, Texas.
7-0, baby.
How about that? First time since '99. Wildcats will start 7-0.
Okay, all you fans out there that had the Wildcats at 7-0, come on now. Who are you? There had to be a few here and there.
Now, 5 of their 6 wins coming in today by 7 points or less. Well, they certainly put a finish to that business. Penalty on the play here. 1:43 to go.
Personal foul, face mask on a defense number 90. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Hey folks, tonight World Series Game 3 in Arlington, Texas. The Rangers continue their quest for the first championship in franchise history, while the Cards look for their 11th World Series title. Legends are born in October, and Game 3 of the World Series between the Cardinals and Rangers begins tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. Boy, 2 terrific games, regardless of what team you're for. The first 2 games, St. Louis, were just great baseball.
Yep.
This pass by Meekum out of bounds stops the clock with 1:24 to go.
A couple of statistics that will increase today. Kansas State scored first. They're now under Bill Snyder, 132 wins and 27 losses. They've won 83% of the time when they score first. They've led at the half today. They're now 147-5, winning over 97% of the games when they lead at the half. That is staggering.
That's ridiculous.
147-5 when they lead at the half. My goodness.
Since 1990. Meekum delivering here, and incomplete, thrown behind the intended receiver. That was Omiji, Chris Omiji, the sophomore from Arlington, Texas. They got crossed up.
The lesson is when the professor gets the lead on you, he steps on your throat. He doesn't reposition the foot to try to let you get in the air. He takes the air out of you. He knows how to finish, and he teaches his football team how to finish. Very, very competitive coach.
And just now starting to take the headset off with 1:17 to go. Meekum across the middle, and it is complete. Mundine with the reception, and he is stopped at the 21-yard line, and Kansas will see if they can squeeze out one more score here. As Dave mentioned, you got guys playing for more time. 21-yard pickup that time. Quinn Meekum, the 6'2", 207-pounder out of Provo, Utah. Back to pass, in trouble here. Meekum dragged down as they keep him in play.
In Kansas State's defense, the backups don't want to give up any more points.
Yeah, you know that's a pride issue. Ferguson making the tackle that time, and a timeout called by Kansas.
It's always nice when you're on the sideline wearing baseball caps, and that's what Colin Klein's doing right now. Enjoying the moment, and Turner Gill is not enjoying the moment whatsoever. Pondering, how do I get this football team turned around? 6 straight games now, they've allowed over 42 points. Having real issues on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, tough to find some answers there. And particularly Texas, their next opponent, is off this weekend. So, you know, they're going to come in ready to play.
And you know it eats at Turner Gill. I mean, enjoyed all that success at Nebraska, individually and collectively with his teammates. He's a winner. He's used to winning. This absolutely just gnaws at his stomach. I can guarantee you that.
Never lost to K-State when he was a player as a quarterback in Nebraska. Of course, came here from Buffalo, where he got them to 8 wins in his second to last season and won the MAC championship. Pass complete again to Mundine, down to the 5. We'll stop the clock for the change to move in the first down. 16 yards on the pickup and 30 seconds and counting. Kansas does have one timeout remaining. And Meekum across the middle, incomplete, and he had a man. It was Mundine wide open.
And Meekum's reaction is, I can't believe I did that. Release point too high, follow through a little bit longer, hold on to the ball just a half a beat more, and you get yourself a touchdown pass.
Meekum, who came to Kansas from Snow Community College, last year threw for 554 yards and 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. Clock stopped at 18 seconds to go. 2nd and goal from the 5. And another one, incomplete. Intended for the big fella Trent Smiley.
And that's usually the case. When you have a wide open receiver and you don't execute, the defense makes it a lot tougher from that point on. You know, when you have something that was easily there and you miss that chance, sometimes it comes back to bite you big.
So 3rd and goal with 13 seconds remaining. Dine going back in motion, and the handoff, Miller. And Miller spins, he is stopped shy. It'll be 4th and goal with 6 seconds to go, and timeout Kansas.
Call timeout, yep. Turnergill wants to score. He wants to take every snap available to him. 4th down. He doesn't want to go off the football field with timeouts and down opportunities that he can teach his football team with. He wants to see him execute and score another touchdown.
Well, if you're preaching to your team about never quitting and giving up, you have to. I mean, what kind of example would it be to say, well, let's just go ahead and run it out here? No, you want to give your club every opportunity you can.
And on the other side, Kansas State's hard coaching not to give up the score.
Yeah. So KU, we told you, at Texas next. And I guess the good news for them is that Texas has a loss. Be the first team on their schedule they played that has been beaten. Then Iowa State, Baylor, A&M, and of course they finished with the big game with rival Missouri, and who knows, could be the final meeting between these two long rivals, depending on Missouri going into the SEC. That will be an emotional day at Arrowhead in Kansas City.
5 of the opponents that Kansas will have lost to this season will now be ranked, counting this Kansas State game, 5 of them. So, I mean, it's been a difficult stretch for sure. It's a tough schedule.
So 6 seconds to go, 4th and goal from the 2. Meekum looking for Mundine and has it. Touchdown Jayhawks.
Pretty good coverage out there by Jonathan Truman, but just not quite enough.
With 1 second remaining, Kansas scores on the TD pass, Meekum to Mundine.
Tight end against linebacker, tight end gets separation. Truman may have had a little early contact, no flag was thrown. Nice job by Mundine to focus and concentrate.
And Mueller following the first career touchdown of Mundine, and 59-21, Mueller with the PAT. And
Bill Snyder looks like he's down 59-21. He is so competitive.
Yeah, those two go way back. Not only did Chuck Long quarterback under Bill Snyder when he was the offensive coordinator at Iowa, Hayden Fry the head coach, but he personally recruited Chuck Long. He was in Wheaton, Illinois, outside of Chicago, and Chuck telling us, I had Iowa, Northwestern, and Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois at that time was like 1AA. He said, talk about a difference of personalities, Bill Snyder and Hayden Fry. He said, total different picture, but he believed what they were selling.
No question. And, you know, Dennis Green was coaching at Northwestern at the time, and, you know, Chuck thought, geez, he might go back to the NFL, which he did. And Chuck made a great decision. Bill Snyder has a great eye for talent because Chuck Long ends up runner-up for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
You know, and Chuck said, I wasn't heavily recruited, but Bill Snyder saw something in me, and Bill Snyder knows what he's looking at. He's got an eye for talent and how to develop it.
Here's the kickoff for the final play. And taken inside the 15. And that will be the ball game as Kansas State 7-0 for the 11th ranked Wildcats of Bill Snyder. 59-21 as they hammer the Jayhawks on their home field here at Memorial Stadium. And the Wildcats first 7-0 since 1999.
Who would have thunk it, really? I bet if you ask Bill, you know, off the record, this may be one of his favorite football teams. How can it not be? The way this team has responded to him and his coaches. And I tell you, they've got chemistry. They've got it. And you know when you have it, you don't want to lose it. And they've got it.
All right, well, we'll find out how happy he is. We'll send it down to Emily Jones with Coach Snyder.
Thank you very much, Coach Snyder. 7-0 for the first time since 1999. You're playing efficiently. 1 penalty, 8 for 8 in the red zone. Pleased with your team's performance?
Well, I think your youngsters played hard, and we did some very positive things, I think, on both sides of the ball. As always, you know, we still have some things that we have to get corrected. I thought we started off great on special teams, then we faltered a little bit. Defensively, you know, they moved the ball when we had our 2s in there. Not that they couldn't move it, you know, against their 1s, because they proved in the first half that they could. But I think collectively, we played reasonably well. I know they played hard. So I was pleased. You know, this is not the score is not reflective of the quality of football team that KU has. They're a better team than that.
Now, Coach, I wanted to bring something to you. On the conference call, you mentioned something about cookies, and I wanted you to know that I'm coachable. And here they are, a dozen chocolate chip cookies for you. Congratulations on being 7-0.
I want you to know you're absolutely wonderful, and I love chocolate chip cookies.
Wonderful, Coach Snyder. Thanks for the time. We do appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
He says we don't suck up. Keep the coach happy.
Emily is coachable. Emily's very coachable.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Wildcats 59-21 over the Jayhawks.